Hi, my name is Alexandra. I'm the manager of the relocation company Dreamlife Spain, and today I'm going to be telling you about the Digital Nomad Visa and this particular wonderful residency type for the online workers. So what's exactly the Digital Nomad Residency type? Is the special type of long-term visa that is appropriate for all the employees or employers, that are able to be working remotely. And let me tell a little bit about when this type of residency has only started. It happened last year at the end of December when the lawyers only started talking about that type of residency. And this January, February 2023, there were the first application and the first approvals for this type of residency. So let's talk about the main differences between this type of residency and the other ones. The first one is that if you apply for this type of residency from Spanish territory, you're gonna get it from the beginning for 3 years. However, if you apply for that type of residency abroad, not being here in Spain physically, you're gonna get it only for 1 year. Another advantage, I would say, is that you're gonna get full working permit. And not only you, but if you're applying with your married couple or your children who are already older than 18 years old, they're also gonna get full working permit in Spain. So they're gonna be eligible to work with this type of residency that they're gonna get to the person who has the online job and who is applying and who is the main solicitante or the main person who applies for that visa. Let's move on to the next benefit of this residency is that the period of time when the application is being reviewed by the authorities is way shorter than for many other types of residency. As we know, for the student type or for the investors, the application can take about 2, 3, or maybe 4 months to be reviewed. For this type of residency, digital nomad, it is very restricted by law that it's going to be renewed, and it has to be reviewed within 20 labor days. So it's 1 month in the calendar or the 20 working days, and within this time the application has to be reviewed and approved or denied, or maybe required some additional documents. However, another great benefit is that if the application hasn't been reviewed within this time, by the law it automatically considered as being approved or favorable answer. So for example, if you have your application and the 20 days have passed and you haven't got any answer and response, you can officially say that it has been approved. You just need to request an additional paper and say, hey, the 20 days have passed, by the law you need to give me the positive response. And they must do that, and according to the experience, they are doing this. So everything is perfect. So another great benefit for this type of residency is that there is no strict limitations for the amount of days you need to have left from your, let's say, like 90 days permitted staying in Europe in order to apply for this visa. Let me explain this to you. So when you are applying for student visa, for example, you need to have at least 30 days left, the one that haven't been used from your 90 days permit of staying in Spain or in Europe. Like, for example, you have the American passport or British one or any other one, you have 90 days entry to European countries without visa. But if you want to apply for the long-term residency, for example, student one, out of those 90 days, you need to have at least 30 left. So for the digital nomad residency, there is no such restriction. You can even apply when you only have 1 day left from those 90. No such. And another very crucial and interesting benefit is that you can apply with your family members simultaneously and at the same moment, all at once from Spain. So you don't need to first of all apply yourself and then unite with them and like attach them to your residency, but you can do it all at once, being here in Spain or doing it from abroad. But in that case, as I said earlier, you're only going to get the residency permit for a year. So let's talk about the main requirements that are essential for this type of residency. First of all is the contract. You need to have the working contract from the company with which you're going to be applying for this type of residency. There are some essential details about the company you can be applying with. So the company, your employer, or for example, if you're a freelance, or if you have the company registered at the sole proprietorship and you're working with some clients, so your client or like the entity that is providing you with work has to be registered on the market for at least a year. So your main client or employer has to be 1 year old at least. Then your working relationship with this client or employer has to be minimum 3 months documentally registered. What else? In order to apply for this nomad or like digital nomad residency, you need to have stable income, and that has to be proven by the by the statement of movements from your bank account. So basically you have to download or have to order at in the bank the certificate of movement in order to show that you have stable income from some entities or from the company you're working with. And this movement has to be for the last 3 months before you're applying for the residency. You need to also prove the invoices or the salary receipts, the monthly one for the last 3 months. And all of these documents, if it's not in Spanish, it has to be translated by the official translator to the Spanish language. What else? What are the other requirements? You need to be free of any criminal records. You have to be absolutely clean and I'll say not have any criminal records prior to coming to Spain, and you need to prove it with the certificate or with like a special record from your country or from the other countries where you've lived in the past 5 years, that you have no criminal charges in any of these countries. All of this has to be translated one more time. And what else? Let's talk about the other essential requirement, which is the private medical insurance that has to be requested and done for practically all the type of Spanish residency types, and this one including. So another crucial requirement for that type of visa is the minimum wage you need to have. So it has to cover 200% of the minimum wage rate in Spain, which is at the moment of 2023, it's around 31,000 euros yearly. So it's annual minimum wage. And that's only for one person, for one applicant. And if you're applying with some of your relatives or children, you need to double this amount or triple. And another important requirement for this type of residency is not only the contract that you have to request from your employer, but also the special letter where your client or your employer confirms that you're going to be working remotely. They do not mind that you're doing so. You're doing this from the territory of Spain, and you will be working on that position and earning that much on that period of time. This letter should not be a part of your contract. I mean, it could be, but the separate letter is a requirement for this type of residency. And the last but not least requirement for that type of residency permit is the experience. So you need to prove that you've been working in this IT or online industry for the last 3 years. You can prove it with different letters from the previous companies or the contracts, or also you can prove it with some certificate or like the extract from some governmental website where it proves all your working experience. Or also, if you don't, for example, have 3 years of working experience in that industry or at that job, and you have the diploma that certifies your higher completed education for that specialization, you can also provide this one. But the diploma has to be with apostille and has to be translated as well. So some words about these successful situations, successful cases in our company. I would like to mention 3 because they are the most interesting ones. The first one was that when we were applying only for this type of residency with our managers, we were quite skeptical about this strict period of the renewal of this application. So because we know how it can take time in Spain and that the immigration office can take it very long. But we applied one of our clients and we received the result in a shocking 5 days. So there was no extra requirement, no extra documents needed, nothing else, just we applied, and within the 5 days we received the positive result straight away. We're very, very shocked but pleasantly surprised. So another case that I would like to share with you is that it's quite the opposite. Recently, one of our clients applied for the Digital Nomad Visa. 20 days have passed and there was still no result, no response, nothing. So our lawyer emailed and sent the message to the governmental authorities saying that the 20 days have passed and by the law they need to provide to the client the automatic positive results. In the next 3 days we receive an official answer saying that yes, according to the law, this and that, since 20 days have passed, she automatically receives the positive answer. Perfect. Also one more happy client. And the last, I would say, quite an interesting story is that we recently applied a family of 4. There were 2 parents. One of them was the main online worker, another one was the married couple, and the 2 children of them. We applied all these 4 people for the digital nomad case, and they all received positive results. But the interesting part is one of the children was not the biological child of the main representative. Let's say it was the child-in-law from the spouse of the main applicant. Very interesting, but the child, not being the biological kid of the main online worker, also received a favorable and approved result for the Spanish residency. Mind-blowing. So as you can see, all these cases and all these situations need to be meticulously reviewed in an individual order. So all of them are very private, all of them are very unique. So if you need to ask and you need to know if your case and your situation is going to be applicable for this type of residency, you can schedule a consultation with our manager, the company Dreamlife Spain, and we'll provide you with the free private consultation about your particular case. So that's pretty much it. It was me, Alexandra, the manager of Dreamlife Spain, and I'll be happy to see you soon among the Spanish residents here in Barcelona.